أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري يا إلهي خذ بقلبي للرشاد.
الحمد لله على نعمائه والشكر على آلائه والصلاة والسلام على سيد أنبيائه محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى جل جلاله في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله. Allah Jalla Jalaluhu says, Alam nashrah laka sadrak. O my beloved Prophet, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him. Didn't I open your chest? وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ. And I took off the burden which was going to burdenizing you. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. And we elevated, we raised up your mention, your memories. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Verily there is an easiness with the difficulties, and verily there is an easiness with the difficulty. فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانصَبْ. So when you are out of the prayer, when you complete your prayer, fansab, try and try again in asking favor. وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَبْ. And to thy Lord you must pay your full attention and you must try to your interest in him. This is the Bible translation of the Surah according to my poor knowledge. And this Surah is Meccan one. It was revealed in Mecca when Nabi Kareem ﷺ was residing in Mecca Sharif. And the proper period cannot be determined by any other historical facts, but the contents of Surah show that the time is last period of his residence in Medina, in Mecca Sharif, because the opening of chest was mentioned, and the opening of chest was attempted and exercised for many times, but for the last and final turn was that of night of ascension, when Nabi Kareem ﷺ was ascended to Allah Jalla Jalaluhu Amma Nawaluhu in the procession of the angels, in the leadership of Archangel, and that was near about the end of his residence in Mecca Sharif. And here the opening of the chest has got two meanings. One of them is, "O my holy Prophet, I opened your chest," means we gave you a lot of knowledge and I have granted a lot of pleasure on you. And the other meanings, the physical opening of the bodies can be meant here, as it was referred to in Bukhari Sharif. Nabi Kareem ﷺ was a baby, a suckling baby, when it was being nursed and patronized by Sadi Halima. According to the statement of Sadi Halima, his chest was opened and operated by the angels in the presence of her two sons, and there are many examples of his opening the chest, and Imam Qastalani Rahmatullah Alayh says at least there are 4 times for the opening of the heart, the chest of Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam. And especially he says that when there was a night of ascension, means Subhanallazi asra bi abdihi laylam min al-masjid al-harami ila al-masjid al-aqsa. There is a complete chapter of opening the chest in the text of Bukhari, that Nabi Kareem ﷺ's chest was opened by the angels. But according to Imam Qastalani in Mu'ab al-Ludniya, when Nabi Kareem ﷺ was about to leave Mecca and he was getting ready for the traveling, the opening of the chest was managed and conducted by Gabriel. Nabi Kareem ﷺ was reported to have said, my chest was opened and heart was taken out by the angel, and it was put in the tray, in the golden tray, and I was in my senses, and I was just normal looking at my heart, and it was being operated by Gabriel himself, and it was washed for many times with the water of Zamzam. The water of Zamzam is just near Kaabatullah Sharif in Mecca, and that was a good memory of Ishmael, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, first son of Abraham, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, and his mother was Hagar, and he was the first and eldest son of Ibrahim, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him. And the water of Zamzam has got an historical background. When his mother was left there all alone, according to the enjoinment and commandment of Allah, Ibrahim was reported to leave her there all alone along with her son, and left to Syria to his first wife Sarah. And in the meanwhile, Hagar was hungry and thirsty, on account of her weakness, she lost her milk, and his suckling baby was without food, and he was about to die. When she saw him in such a serious condition, she tried her best to find out the water to drink and enable her son to have the milk. And she was walking here and there, and she climbed up the mountain, a small hill, Safa, and then on Marwa. And since the valley between these both hills was deep, she could not see her son. Therefore she began to run, and she began to run. She ran for 7 times there. This is why the running between these two hills in the valley is sunnah. All of the people going there are duty bound to run there. But just walking there is second class obligatory according to Islamic ideology. And when the son was near about to die, he rubbed his heels on the ground, and water began to gush out. And Sayyida Hagar came back just to check whether her son was sane and alive, safe and sound, or otherwise. When she came back, she saw that her son was rubbing his heels against the ground, and the water was gushing out just like fountains. So she made a compound wall against the water and began to say, Zam, Zam. Zam, Zam means stay, stay. Since she said these words in her anxiety, therefore the well got its name after the words of Hagar pronounced for the first time. That water is called the water of Zamzam. According to the report of Nabi Kareem Raufur Rahim, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, his heart was washed with the water of Zamzam. And Nabi Kareem ﷺ says that I was in senses, and I was watching the proceedings and the transactions conducted by Gabriel. Here all of the Muslims are requested to consider the matter, to differentiate between right and wrong ideology. The orthodoxy believe that the Nabi Kareem ﷺ is superhuman, is supernatural, because he was alive and sane and safe and sound when his heart was taken out of his body, and no connection was between Nabi Kareem, the most supreme, the chosen, the selected Prophet, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, and between the heart. In spite of the disconnection between body and heart, Nabi Kareem ﷺ was safe and sound. If any person claims to be equal to Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ, he should attempt the same exercise, the same experience. If a person can survive without any precautionary measures, any medical measures, his heart is taken out from his body, and he can survive after the heart is taken out, and he can maintain his senses, then one can be equal to Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ. But if one's heart is taken out and no precautionary measures are attempted and no medical precautions are observed, he will have to die. he cannot keep his senses, he cannot maintain his intelligence, and he cannot see the heart placed in the golden tray. So it means that when the things exercised are experienced by Muhammad Mustafa is impossible for anybody else in the world. It means that no one else can be compared to him, and nobody can be equated with him, and nobody can be equalized with him. He is matchless, and such an experience was not attempted in connection of any other prophet, which means that no speaking of common person, but any prophet, no prophet can be equalized with Muhammad Mustafa. When it is not possible for the prophets to be equated, to be equalized with Muhammad Mustafa, where is the chance available for a common person to be equalized with Muhammad Mustafa in respect of dignity, grandeur, and splendor, and magnificence? Nabi Kareem is matchless, is unique in this world, in the next world, among the human beings, among the angels, among the jinn, among the total universal creature. And when the heart of Nabi Kareem was opened and placed in the golden tray, certain question can be raised. First of all, what was the reason of opening the heart and the taking of the heart of the body? We can say that it was just to energize more and more, to enable him to see Allah Rabbul Izzat without any hindrance, without any veil, without any obstacle in the way, without any intervention of any curtain or any wall or any physical body between Muhammad, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, and the deity of Allah Rabbul Izzat, the existence of Allah Rabbul Izzat. So Imam Muhyiddin al-Arabi says, this is the ablution of prayer of enthusiasm. This is the ablution of prayer of love. The devotional prayer, the liturgical prayer requires a type of ablution which can be attempted, which can be executed with the water. But the prayer of love requires the taking out of the heart of the body. And since this practice was not attempted, this experience was not executed and conducted in respect of Moses, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, this is why he fell down senselessly when he happened to see Allah Rabbul Izzat. If he had performed the ablution of love prayer, he would have maintained his senses while watching at Allah Rabbul Izzat. So the philosophy of opening the heart can be called two things. One is to energize him, to enable him to watch at Allah, at the existence of Allah in its original situation. And the other one was just to show the total society that no one else can be compared, can be equalized to Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam. So Quran says, Alam nashrah laka sadrak. Since in the previous surah the revelation was disconnected for a few weeks, and it was propagated by the infidels that Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam was forsaken and given up by Allah Rabbul Izzat. Allah Rabbul Izzat has denounced him, renounced him, and left him forever. So Allah Rabbul Izzat assured him and convinced him that Allah was not going to leave him or to forsake him or to renounce him, because Muhammad, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, was, is and will remain the beloved of Allah, and beloved of one can never be forsaken and can never be renounced. Since he is beloved, therefore he cannot be denounced or renounced or forsaken. And in this very connection, Allah Rabbul Izzat assured him, Alam yajidka yatiman fa'awa. O my holy Prophet, didn't I find you an orphan and provide you with the proper protection? And وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى, and found you absorbed and diving in the love, and provided you with the proper intelligence and provided you with the proper guidance to enable the people to search for the destination. And وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى, and didn't we find you a needy person, a miserable person, and we provided you with every type of wealth. In the same way, Allah Rabbul said, Alam nashrah lak sadrak. O my holy Prophet, didn't I open your heart? Means when so many bounties were granted to you and so many benevolence was shown to you, and so many generosities were attempted in connection with you, under such circumstances, can you be neglected? Can you be renounced? Can you be denounced? This is an assurance for Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam that he is never going to be neglected or to be forsaken or to be denounced. And further Quran says, وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ. O my holy Prophet, we have taken off you the burden which was going to burdenize you. What does it mean? It means that Nabi Kareem ﷺ was very anxious and very worried about his community, about his followers, that they would be penalized for their sins and their practice was not satisfactory. Therefore, a vast majority of the people was running the risk of being penalized and chastised, and so much torment and scourge and punishment was waiting for them. Therefore, Nabi Kareem ﷺ was highly worried. Under such circumstances, Allah Rabbul Izzat assured him and convinced him and consoled him, O my holy Prophet, nothing was there to be worried about, because you are my beloved, and the main purpose of existence of the judgment day is to please you. وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى. O my holy Prophet, Allah Rabbul Izzat will give you so much so that you would be pleased. Means your job is to get annoyed. My job is to please you. This competition would be seeing-worthy on the judgment day. You must try to get annoyed. I must try to please you. This competition would be won by me, and all of the present people on the judgment day will see the situation. I promise you. So the burden which was going to burdenize Muhammad, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, was taken off Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam by saying, وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى. When Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam came to know that his Lord was going to please him and make him happy, then Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam said, وَاللَّهِ لَا أَرْضَى إِذًا وَوَاحِدٌ مِّنْ أُمَّتِي فِي النَّارِ. O my Lord, I swear by you, I will never be pleased as long as even one of my followers is in the hell being penalized. I would be happy when the last member of my obedient people, my followers, would be eliminated from the hell and be granted the paradise. وَوَضَعْنَا أَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ. Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, he selected the chosen prophet, the most merciful prophet, the most greedy prophet about the redemption and pardon of his obedience. Say that, Wallahi, izan la arda wa wahidun min ummati fin nar. There is no question of my prayer as long as even a single member of my followers is in the hell. So there are many traditions which say that for many times Allah will ask him to take many persons, millions and millions. There are many traditions in the reliable sources, just like Bukhari and Muslim, and canonical books which were canonized by the Muslim states and by the Muslim scholars, that millions and millions persons would be taken out by Muhammad from the hell without any accountability, without any scrutinization, without any checking, just by means of the intercession of Muhammad with Allah Rabbul Izzat. They would be interceded for with Allah Rabbul Izzat, and Nabi Kareem ﷺ would be granted a right to take them out, and in one attempt millions and millions of persons would be eliminated from the hell and would be sent to the paradise. Here the proper ideology of Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that certain sinful persons would be pardoned for sake of the pious people. The practice of one person can be beneficial for the other person. The virtues of Zaid can be beneficial for the Bakr who is very sinful person. This is the ideology of Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and this is the philosophy of communication of reward. Isal Sawab means the reward and award of one's virtues can be given to somebody else. Just like we recite the Holy Quran and we make the charities for the communication of reward to the dead bodies, and the misled Muslims mostly object to the behavior. They say that Laisa lil insani illa ma sa'a. Notwithstanding, this verse is abrogated one by the verse of Surah Tur. Laisa lil insani illa ma sa'a means no one is deserving for anything but for his own earning. So this verse was abrogated by a verse of Surah Tur. Surah Najm was previously revealed, and the revelation of Surah Tur is subsequent. The subsequent can abrogate the previous one. The preceding one can be abrogated by the subsequent. Surah Najm is preceding one, and Surah Tur is subsequent one. The Surah of Tur contains a verse which abrogates Laysa lil insani illa ma sa'a, and that is like this: Alladhina amanu wattaba'athum zurriyyatuhum biimanin alhaqna bihim zurriyyatahum wama alatnahum min amalihim min shay. Means those people who believed in Allah and His Apostle, means who believed in the total necessities of Iman and Islam, and their offsprings followed them in their belief, but they could not follow them in respect of practice. The practice of pious persons could not be followed by the offspring of theirs, in spite of the fact that they could not follow them in practice, but they would be annexed and they would be attached, they would be included in the community of pious people, their forefathers, because of the virtue of their forefathers, provided that they are agreeing with them in respect of ideology. Means they were not misled in respect of their ideology. They would be granted the same facilities, the same dignities, the same opportunities which were available for the good people, for the righteous people, for the virtuous people, in spite of the difference in their practice. So here Quran says, وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ, means that burden which was burdenizing you, we have taken out of you, because you were worried about it and we wanted to satisfy you. And thus the virtues of Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ would be utilized by the sinful person, because they would be taken out from the hell and be put in the paradise because of virtues of Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ. Thus we can establish the ideology of Isa al-Sawab, that one's virtues can be utilized for the benefit of the sinful person who is not a properly worker of the virtues. And the Quran says, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ, O my holy prophet, we have elevated, we have raised your mention, your memories, means your honor and your prestige was elevated. Wherever I am mentioned, you are also mentioned. There is a tradition, Hadith Qudsi, which says, O my holy prophet, O my selected and the chosen prophet, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, Iza zukirto zukirta ma'i. O my holy prophet, when I am mentioned, you will also be mentioned with me. And you can see it when Azan is promulgated. The name of Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ is adjacent to the name of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. And when Iqamat is promulgated, announced, the name of Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ is mentioned along with the name of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu wa Amma Waluhu. So you can check that the total global prayers, you can see when there is time for Isha prayer in America, there is morning time in Pakistan. So no time can come on the earth, on the land, when the mention of Nabi Kareem ﷺ is absent from the society. And in certain countries there is time of Asr prayer, and in the other country the time of Zohr prayer. In different parts of the countries, in different parts of the earth, the name of Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ is being mentioned. It means that wherever the name of Allah is mentioned, the name of Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ should be attached to them. Here, the Sunni people mostly chant the slogan of Nara Takbir. When they say Nara Takbir, at the same time they say Nara Rasalat, Ya Rasulullah, because it is according to the principle Isa Zukirto Zukirta Ma'i. This is promise made by Allah Rabbul Izzat, that O my holy prophet, wherever I am mentioned, you will also be mentioned. So when the slogan of Takbir was chanted, the slogan of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam should also be chanted there. And when you say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu, you will have to say wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. You are not in a position to separate the name of Allah Rabbul Izzat from the name of Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam. Wherever the name of Allah is mentioned, the name of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa barak wa sallam would also be mentioned. Here, one can raise a question that I shall show you that name of Allah is mentioned, but name of Muhammad Mustafa is not mentioned. We can ask him, please show the example. He exemplifies when you slaughter an animal, an eatable animal, you say takbir, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, or Bismillah, Wallahu Akbar. These two types of takbir is mentioned in the reliable sources. But Bismillah, Allahu Akbar without vow is more advisable according to the statement of Hadaya Sharif. Here, one can say that the name of Allah was mentioned, but name of Muhammad Mustafa was not mentioned, which means that it is not a major premise. It is not a regular principle that wherever the name of Muhammad Allah Rabbul Izzat is mentioned, the name of Muhammad Mustafa should also be mentioned. So this question is very complicated and very bombastic type, because it is practiced by the whole Muslim world, but there is no even a single example of mentioning the name of Muhammad Mustafa, and the mentioning of name of Muhammad Mustafa is here is highly culpable action, and there are many situations in which the slaughtered animal will stand null and void and would not be allowed to be eaten. So under such circumstances, we will have to check the answer. So the reliable sources say that here, first of all, we should make a question. When you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, so this phrase is mostly mentioned wherever and whenever you start a good thing. A good thing is always started with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. When you eat the food, you say Bismillah Rahman Rahim. When you drink the water, you say Bismillah Rahman Rahim. When you do prayer, you say Bismillah Rahman Rahim. And when you break the fast, you say Bismillah Rahman Rahim. In most of the actions, while beginning, you say Bismillah Rahman Rahim. What is the reason for you not to say Bismillah Rahman Rahim, but instead you say Bismillah Allahu Akbar? Why do you neglect the noun Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim? What is the reason? Oh, the reliable sources say that this is occasion of coercion. This is the occasion of oppression, suppression, exploitation. So the Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim means the most compassionate, the most merciful. When the occasion is of coercion, suppression, oppression, exploitation, so the name meaning the merciful, the compassionate are not suitable according to the occasion. So when the name of Allah meaning to be merciful, meaning to be the most compassionate are not mentionable here, they are very awkward to be mentioned here, because the situation, the occasion does not suit the utilization of those names. So when the name of Allah meaning the merciful, meaning the compassionate are not appropriate to be mentioned here, because they don't agree with the occasion. So Nabi Kareem ﷺ, who is a blessing from top to bottom, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ, when the occasion is of aggression, oppression, exploitation and coercion, the name of Allah giving the meaning of merciful were neglected. Nabi Kareem ﷺ is from top to bottom mercy of Allah, blessing of Allah. Therefore, he was avoided. Otherwise, name of Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam cannot be separated from the name of Allah Rabbul Izzat, because it is a promise of Allah, Iza zukirto zukirta ma'i. But when you
what this means?
Iza zukirto zukirta ma'i, when I am mentioned, you would also be mentioned. My mention and your mention would be adjoining, would be adjacent to each other, would be together. They cannot be separated. According to the promise of Allah, Muslim is duty bound to put them together. But when we come across many meetings, the Maulana people say that please chant the slogan of Allahu Akbar, but don't chant the slogan of Ya Rasulullah. It means that the time of his speeches is a time of oppression, aggression, coercion and exploitation, and that is the time of that is a time for the sending down of perdition and scourge and torment and chastisement of Allah. Therefore, name of Allah should be mentioned and the name of the Prophet should not be mentioned, because the time of their speeches is a time of wrath of Allah, anger of Allah. Therefore, the name of Muhammad Mustafa should not be mentioned. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. And the elevation of the name of Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam can be substantiated and can be proved by many other sources of Islamic law. When you go in Pakistan, there is a Milad Sharif. When you go to India, there are the meetings of Milad Sharif. When you go in Russia, there is no piece of land on the earth where the mention of name of Muhammad Mustafa is not going on. It means that even if you are trying to prevent the name of Muhammad Mustafa, but the name of Muhammad Mustafa is being expanded and being spread by all of the Muslims in different part of the country, in morning, in the evening, everywhere. And all of the books revealed by Allah Rabbul Izzat are containing the name of Muhammad Mustafa. The name of Muhammad Mustafa was found in Torah, in Gospel, in Pentateuch, in the Mammuths, in the booklets of Ibrahim, the grace and peace of Allah be upon him, and Zabur as well. Once upon a time, a Syrian Jew was reading Torah and he happened to come the name of Muhammad Mustafa to the name of Muhammad Mustafa. He was really surprised to see the name of Muhammad Mustafa in his own book. He said to himself that it was not appropriate for Torah to contain the name of other person who was opposite to them, because this is the story of the time of Muhammad Mustafa. That Jew was contemporary to Muhammad Mustafa, and on account of prejudice, he deleted the name of Muhammad Mustafa, He deleted the name of Muhammad Mustafa from the pages of his Torah. And the other day, when he opened Torah just to study the further part of Torah, all of a sudden he found the name of Muhammad Mustafa written for 2 times, and he deleted the name of Muhammad Mustafa from 2 places and shut up the book. The following day, he again tried to study and to recite Torah, being a Jew, and at the same place he opened the book, and the name of Muhammad Mustafa was written in 4 times. For 4 times. Thus he kept on deleting, and Allah Rabbul Izzat kept on writing the name of Muhammad Mustafa twice times. For 2 times. And the more he deleted, the more numbers were increased by by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu Umar Walu. What is this one? Is burning?
Radiator has burst.
Okay. So, when he deleted the name of Muhammad Mustafa from half of the page, the following day, the page was full with the name of Muhammad Mustafa. Then he surrendered and he yielded to the dignity of name of Muhammad Mustafa. So he determined to leave Syria for Medina Tayyibah, and he came to Medina Tayyibah after many days journey. When he reached there, all of a sudden he happened to meet with Salman Farsi. May Allah be pleased with him. Since his feature, his structure and his appearances were similar to Muhammad Mustafa, resembling, there is a resemblance, not equal. He had got a resemblance on account of obedience to Muhammad Mustafa. So he said, Anta Muhammadun? Aren't you Muhammad? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, I am not Muhammad. He came to the mosque of Muhammad Mustafa. Okay?
Shurah, Salman Farsi. He met with Salman Farsi.
Yeah. When he reached Medina Tayyibah, he happened to meet with Salman Farsi. And he said, you are Muhammad, didn't you? Don't you? He said, no, I am not Muhammad. Then he took him to the mosque of the Prophet, and he found Siddiq Akbar surrounded by the companions of the Prophet and successors as well, because he was the first person to succeed Muhammad Mustafa, and his feature, figure, structure and dress and attitude were very resembling to Muhammad Mustafa. Therefore he thought that he was Muhammad and cried out, aren't you Muhammad? May grace and peace of Allah be upon him. He said, no, I am not Muhammad. But he did not tell him that Nabi Kareem has passed away. He did not tell him that Nabi Kareem had passed away. But he said with so enthusiasm and so fervent and impulsive way that all of the stones and material of the mosque began to make a sound. A'anta Muhammadun, A'anta Muhammadun, A'anta Muhammadun. Aren't you Muhammad? You are Muhammad, don't you? Siddiq Akbar did not tell him that Nabi Kareem had passed away. And he took him to the shrine of Muhammad Mustafa, and indicating toward his shrine, he said, this is Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And he bowed down towards the shrine of Muhammad Mustafa, and he put his lips with the way of kissing on the shrine of Muhammad Mustafa, and he passed away at the spot. Here one can say, mit gaye mitte hain mit jayenge aada tere, na mita hai na mitega kabhi charcha tera. Means all of your enemies were abolished and would be abolished, but your mention, your name, your reputation, your prestige and your announcement in the world would never be banished, would never be abolished, and your name and your fame would continue to diffuse and to spread in the world. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ.
What is the reference of this hadith?
Madarijun Nubuwa by Shah Abdul Haq Madrasa Delvi passed away in 1054 AH, and he had quoted many reliable sources in that book, but that book is sufficient for the reference. That is called Madarijun Nubuwwah. He was the first traditionalist who introduced the total syllabus of tradition, the hadith of Muhammad Mustafa Islam in India. He was educated at Mecca, and then he came to Medina Tayyibah as a teacher of Medina Tayyibah in the mosque of the Prophet, and at that time he had a dream of Muhammad Mustafa Islam, which asked him to leave Medina Tayyibah for Delhi and initiate and originate an institute, educational institute in Delhi. According to the instruction of Muhammad Mustafa, he migrated from Medina Tayyibah to Delhi and founded a big institute, and for the first time the total syllabus of traditions were taught by him in India. He was the first teacher of hadith in India. Very reliable person. That is sufficient. He is sufficient for the reference. And there are many other ways to substantiate the elevation of the name of Muhammad Mustafa in the world. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala reported Muhammad Mustafa to have said that the name of Muhammad Mustafa is written on the eye people of the beautiful woman in the paradise, Hur, on the eye people of Subhanallah. The two eyes were printed with the name of Allah and His apostle respectively, and the eyes of Ghilman are also with the same position. On the eye people of one eye is name of Allah is printed, and on the other eye people is name of Muhammad Mustafa is printed.
Which people?
Huh?
Which people?
The boys, the pages in the paradise. There are two types of creature.
Yeah.
The beautiful woman,
Yeah.
the boys who can be called pages. The small boy to serve the paradisiacal people. They can be called pages.
I have also read in the Gospel of Barnabas that every people enter to Jannah, they have written on their forehead, present to Muhammad Mustafa.
But I would like to see it and to research it. Without research, I never certify or verify anything. Unless I certify myself, I make investigation and make search and make inquiry into it. I cannot say anything, because my quotation, my statement is an authority, inshallah. Wherever it is challenged, I am responsible for the authenticity, and I shall answer the question relevant with my statement. But I am not ready to accept the responsibility of other people, because everybody has got his own attitude of research, and this is a matter of religion. The bogus information should not be included and incorporated into my statement. Look, he says that every leaf on the tree of Tuba is printed with the name of Allah and His Apostle, and every gate of paradise has got a printing of name of Allah and His Apostle. And Hazrat Allama Ibrahim Bajori, one of the most reliable teacher of Azhar Sharif, he wrote a book in connection with the commentary on Shamail Sharif, Shamail Tirmidhi. Shamail is a book containing the feature, the habits, the daily activities as a habit of Muhammad Mustafa. That is called Shamail. Shamail was commented on by Hazrat Allama Ibrahim Bajori, one of the most reliable and very pious teacher of Azhar Sharif. He writes here, he says that the name of two persons are always printed on the things, on the articles. For instance, a plate is made by a factory. Factory will write down its name just for the trading purpose, for the prestige, for the honor, for the reputation. And if somebody else uses the same name on its own utensils, they can sue, because their name was used without their permission, and it may cause some bad name to their reputation, and therefore they can sue. It means that the manufacturer can use one's name on its manufactured articles, and the other name is mentioned, is written on the articles, on the things. And what is that name? Whose is that name? Allama Ibrahim Bajori says that name is always the name of the owner, who possesses, who purchases, who buys it, who becomes the owner and proprietor of that property. I mean, the name printed on an article shows two things. First one is the manufacturing, the other one is proprietary right. So the name of Muhammad Mustafa was mentioned on the eye people of the beautiful woman, the name of Allah and name of Muhammad Mustafa. And with the same way, the name of Allah and His Apostle was mentioned, was printed on the eye people of the beautiful boy pages, and the name of Allah and His Apostle was printed on the gates, on the main gates of paradise. There are 8 gates and 8 portions of paradise which are for different classes. The name of Allah was mentioned because He is manufacturer, He is creator, He has created the paradise. This is why His name was printed as a creator. And since Allah Rabbul Izzat has made a gift deed in the name of Muhammad Mustafa, Inna a'tayna kal kawsar, O my holy Prophet, I bestowed all of the universe on you, and I have conferred paradise, the power of hell, the power of total universe on you, and you are entrusted with every type of power without divinity. Means you are not God, you are not Allah, and except Allah, all of the powers were invested in you, were entrusted with you. You were entrusted with every type of powers which are concerning with the prophethood, and this paradise was also granted to you. Therefore your name was mentioned. My name was mentioned as a creator, and your name was mentioned as an owner. This is my creature and your property. मैं तो मालिक ही कहूँगा कि हो मालिक हबीब, यानी महबूब मुहिब में नहीं मेरा तेरा। वमा अलैना इल्लल बलागुल मुबीन व आखिरु दावाना अनिल हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन। अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला रसूलिल करीम, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन। रहमत की या रहमत।